Great. Thank you very much. Great pleasure to be here. It's always a great opportunity to use an event like this to do a little research. I got a little feedback there on the lunches. Geez, you guys really, we're gonna have to work on those lunches, I guess. So anyway, great to have you all here. It's a great group, and I too want to personally welcome the people who are from our customers and partners. Let's give them another round of applause for joining us. It's really great to have you all here, and especially those from our customers and partners. We really appreciate the commitment you have made to work with us. We know that one of the greatest parts of our job is the way in which the magic of software comes through to you and your organizations. And so the opportunity to have your input, to have your participation in this process it's a tremendous opportunity for us. And it's one thing that really makes a difference in our jobs, and hopefully it makes a difference for all of the people who are going to be using the product around the world. Now, today I begin with what we might call the peeling of the onion. You know, we're going to peel off the layers. And what I'm going to do today is to give you a sense of what Office XP is all about, the Office experience. In fact, I'm really going to focus on two core elements. I'm going to share with you what we think that experience means, the Office experience in particular, what it means to the user, the person who day in and day out is depending upon Microsoft Office for how they do their job, or how they get things done in their personal lives, or how they do things in their schoolwork. So the user experience is central to what we're trying to do with Office XP. And in fact, that's why we chose XP, the representation of experience, as the key moniker to describe where we're going with the product. But of course, when you put that together, when you deliver a great experience for all the users, in particular in business, you can add that up into what we like to describe as agility, the way in which companies can use information technology to really make a difference in their business. And so we're going to talk about the experience, we're going to talk about agility, and to do that, I'm going to put this into the context of our overall productivity vision. To a certain extent where we've come from, a little bit of a historical perspective, but mostly because we want to set up for you the picture of where we see this productivity market going, and the opportunity that you all have to be using Microsoft Office in this context. We really see Office XP as a major step forward on this vision of productivity, and in particular on our road to .NET. And so it's our hope that today, with these sessions and the next couple days, what we can do is peel the layers of the onion and really help you to get a sense of the opportunities that we see in this area. Now, I want to take a moment and describe a little bit about my role, but in particular because I feel that what I need to do for all of you is to make sure that Office is central to the role of what we're doing at productivity and business services at Microsoft. In my group at Microsoft, we really have two key missions. The first mission is productivity. This is a huge, huge responsibility in my view. Our heritage, I've been at Microsoft now about 19 years. I started back in 1981 to help us start the applications business. My first job really was to be the multi-plan product manager. That dates me a little bit. There's probably very few of you who even remember multi-plan, but that was my role. So we started 19, 20 years ago to really get going in this productivity applications world, and that's become very central to the value proposition of our customers around the world. And it's going to be a very, very rich future. One of the key elements that Jeff mentioned when he was describing my role at Microsoft is emerging technologies. There's some exciting developments underway. One of which is the tablet PC. I'm looking around for something I can use to kind of describe it to you. I'm going to just remind you that this is about 8.5 by 11 inches. And imagine a form factor that's about 8.5 by 11 inches. It's about 3/4 of an inch or an inch thick, weighs less than 2,000 pounds. You see, I get so excited. when I talk about the tablet PC. Yes, it weighs less than 2,000 pounds. In fact, a special for you, it weighs less than 2 pounds. So, about 2 pounds, all of the power of Windows 2000, that's where the 2000 was coming in, I got ahead of myself, all of the power of Windows 2000 or Whistler, and the simplicity of paper. Something that you can carry around with you every hour of the day. You know, think about it. Most of us in our jobs, we might be at our computers, what, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe more for us. But just think about the typical knowledge worker. They may be only able to have access to computers to improve their productivity for an hour and a half or 2 a day. So with this kind of a form factor, what we can do is we can equip them with computing power to enhance their productivity for their full workday, for the rest of the things that they're doing in their personal lives. And to us, that's incredibly exciting. That's the kind of paradigm shift. That's the kind of jump that's going to occur during this decade. You know, people sometimes have got it stuck in their head that they think that, oh, computer-based productivity, that was the 90s. That was what we did with PCs and laptops and Microsoft Office, and that's what happened then. But this is now, and we're working on the future. And the future means that we are going to be able to provide even greater value during this decade with things like that kind of form factor, the tablet PC. Just think about the number of people who today are carrying around their pocket PCs or their Palm Pilots. They're getting the sense. Okay. They're getting the sense of what's possible in terms of being able to enhance productivity day long. And we want to deliver on that with the full power of the capability of the PC. And at the same time, think about another key paradigm shift. Think about wireless connectivity. Many of you here are aware that at Microsoft now at our campus, probably about half the buildings have wireless networks, wireless local area networks. So basically, we can carry our laptops around and we can be connected to the net wherever we are. So there's wireless at least 2, maybe 3 different levels. You have the wide area wireless network. You have the local area networks. I mentioned Microsoft. My house. I'm a 5 PC family. My wife and I each have laptops. My daughter, 13-year-old daughter in 8th grade, she's in a school where every student is required to have a laptop. That's a part of their school environment. Then I've got a server. I've got a computer for the 2 younger kids. They're all on a wireless network. So within any place in our house, we have the opportunity to go and be able to be connected to the network via the gateway, cable modem gateway out to the internet. So wireless connectivity is going to change the way in which we think about productivity. Another very important element of productivity is this other mission at Microsoft, business process applications. Today, for the most part, what that means is the work that we're doing with vCentral, how we're helping smaller businesses get on the net and use that as a way to improve the way in which they communicate with their customers, the way in which they do their finances, the way in which they sell to customers. So that's what we're doing today with vCentral. You've heard about our move to acquire Great Plains software, and that's because we see some other paradigm shifts. We see that when small and medium-sized businesses get interconnected, when they get on the net, it changes the way in which they want to run their business systems. There's going to be an e-blur, the blurring of the boundaries between the traditional categories of ERP or accounting, customer relationship management, supply chain management. When the customer of that small business goes to the website, he or she wants to know what's in inventory. When they place the order, you want that to flow right into the accounts payable. You want it to flow right into the customer relationship record. So there's going to be the blurring. There's going to be the interconnection of those business processes. There's going to be the ability to run that on-premise. There's going to be the ability to run that in the cloud. And we want Microsoft to be at the center of providing that kind of business value to customers. And as we learn and develop that kind of value in business process, it also provides a tremendous opportunity for productivity. Why? Because a big part of what people want to do with their productivity tools is they want to get at the information that's in those systems. They want to be able to have the productivity tools, the Office suite, extract the things that are going to be most important to the decision that they need to make at that point in time, or the information they need in order to help a colleague. And so the connection between productivity and business process is extremely important as well. And some of what you'll see today with Office XP really begins to show you what's possible in terms of that interconnection between productivity and business process. So I have that fun job. I've got the job at Microsoft to work with a great team of people who are pulling together our productivity vision, our business process applications vision, and turning this into this reality of software as a service. Now, this, of course, is a big part of what we need to do with Microsoft Office. And if you think back to where we are in productivity and where we've come from, it is quite an incredible jump. I mentioned back my role in the early 1980s with the Microsoft Office group. Obviously, we had a long ways to go. And for those of you who are intimately involved in this part of the industry, you remember about CUI versus GUI, character user interface versus graphic user interface, and you know, the move from multi-plan, and then there was Lotus 1-2-3, and WordPerfect, and DBase, and WordStar. And so in that first generation, we saw what the computer could do for productivity. But it was really in the second generation where we made the big leap to graphic user interface and the big leap to a productivity suite. We brought in new capabilities like PowerPoint, like Microsoft Access, the database capabilities. We brought them together into an integrated suite of capabilities. And so it was that second generation that really helped us take a big leap forward in enhancing the productivity of people who are using computers. But now we're really seeing what's possible in this third generation. It was kind of hinted at with Office 2000. With Office 2000, we took a big step forward in terms of how we use the web. You know, new scenarios that really thought about the way in which people were going to use the web. But of course, with Office XP now, we've had the time to really dig in and think about our opportunity to use the web and to use the directions like XML as a major leap forward so that we can do new types of capabilities that people haven't really thought of in terms of how it can enhance their productivity. And as I mentioned, when we do that and do that really well, it provides for the agility for organizations. Now, you're going to hear us talk a lot about agility. So I thought I'd spend a moment and really say, what is it all about? What does it mean? Well, just think for a moment about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the economy, what businesses are thinking about. The competitiveness in business is really such that people are trying to move very quickly to increase their customer focus. It's very much a Darwinian world out there. It's the survival of the fittest. And unless you do a great job of putting the customer at the center, your company won't succeed. Unless you do a great job of being fast, responsive, moving with speed, getting to market quickly, your company won't succeed. It's a very competitive world in terms of getting talent. More and more, you can think of the economy as being shaped by knowledge, by information. And what does that mean? Well, if it's an intellectual property-based economy, not just in the sense of companies like Microsoft that do software, but just in the way in which companies compete. They compete on the basis of how they develop and use the intellectual assets of their companies. Well, they better get the employees, have the best employees to make that kind of contribution, and give them the right kinds of tools, empower them and motivate them to be able to make that kind of a contribution. So that's a critical success factor for companies. And because information technology then becomes a fundamental part of how companies do business, they've got to have a flexible technology foundation to build on in order to be able to move forward. So to us, agility is the response to what's happening in the world. It's our response to how we can help those companies. To us, agility means how we enable businesses to be very fluid, to break down the organizational boundaries that they've traditionally been locked in, to be able to respond more rapidly. To us, agility means the ability to help those customers deeply understand their market, their customer segments, to be able to focus in on the opportunities, to be able to anticipate needs of customers more rapidly than their competitors, to move more rapidly than their competitors, to be able to scale to the opportunities that they see in front of them, to be able to implement new solutions through the kinds of flexibility that they need in the information technology, and most important, to be able to pursue the opportunities that they see for their business. And we need to help them do that through the magic of software. So to us, that's what agility is all about. And that's why we're putting such an emphasis on agility in all of our communications with the customers and our partners and the people that we work with around the world. Now, when it comes to the desktop, it's very important then that we enhance the experience for the users. So agility is core to what we need to do with the organizations. XP, or the experience, is core to what we have to do for users. We've got to enable users to be able to make the kind of contribution that is being expected of them within the organizations in which they work. We've got to enable those users to have the kind of experience that helps that balance between work and home, or helps them to learn more efficiently or more effectively. And so we've named Office 10 Office XP to represent the advance of the experience. And to us, there's a set of 3 core experiences that we want to clearly articulate as the opportunity. The personal experience, the experience of the user, the team experience, effective collaboration, and also the organizational experience. How we help those users participate in the business solutions, in addressing the business needs that will help their companies be more effective. So for us, Office XP means the experience, the personal experience, the team experience, and the organizational experience. Now, what I want to do is I want to begin to peel the layers a little bit more. I want to talk about the personal, I want to talk about the personal experience, and I want to set that up. Now, when we listen to our users about what they feel about Microsoft Office, what is it that we could do in order to really help them be even more productive with Microsoft Office? Clearly, one of the key messages we hear is simplification. They see a lot of value in Microsoft Office, but they say, how can I get at that value? How can I get more out of Microsoft Office? And Microsoft, when you're doing that, when you're helping to automate things, how can you put me more in control? So that when the autopilot within Microsoft Office does some of the things that I don't want it to do, how can I take control back of the autopilot? And when things go wrong, when something happens, I'm sure you've never had a crash of any of our software, but for those of people who did, how do we provide airbags? How do we make it possible for them to recover from that kind of a problem? So these are the kinds of things that are at the heart of what we were trying to do with the personal experience. Simplify the way people can work, get more out of Office. And so you're going to hear a lot about smart tags. You're going to hear a lot about what we can do in the way of auto recovery. And some new things like speech and handwriting recognition. Now, in my view, the best way really to understand what Office XP is all about is, of course, to see it. Seeing is believing, and that's going to be a core theme of how we do the marketing of Office XP. So to help me do that, I want to invite Anders Brown. Anders is one of our top product managers. He does a great job of articulating some of these issues, so I want you to join me in welcoming Anders to the stage.
Thanks, Jeff. It's super excited to be up here. As Jeff mentioned, we really think that Office XP is going to really revolutionize the way not only individuals.
It's kind of a nice shirt you got there.
Like that? Well, I figured if he got Hendrix, I'd wear the tie-dye. So, as you said, it's really going to revolutionize the way that not only individuals, right out of the box, what do you get right when you open up Office? What do you experience? But also, how do teams work together, right? How do we improve collaboration? And really then, again, how do we extend that into the organization so that you can actually build business solutions and use these kind of core technologies in the product? So what I'm going to actually focus on right now is just some of the individual and then a little bit later on some of the team experiences. Because really the rest of the 3 days is all about the organization and some of the core technologies that you can actually use within Office XP to build these kinds of business solutions, the deployment stuff, the developer stuff. So again, it's very exciting. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a look at Office and show you how task panes, smart tags, and auto recover really provide for a smarter work experience for the end user. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up Office XP here. And the first thing out of the gate you'll notice is a new UI here. We have a little flatter look, and we have a new feature on the right-hand side that you'll see that's called a task pane. Now you'll see this actually throughout the product, and what that really does is it provides me all the relevant actions, the kinds of things I might want to do, right based on the context. So I've opened up Office, and it actually says, okay, perhaps you want to open up a new document. So here I could open up any of the previous documents I've worked on. Okay. I could actually open up a new document. I could choose from an existing one. Or in fact, I could actually choose potentially from a template. So this is really taking a look at simplifying the way we work, bringing some of those things that perhaps were in the modal dialog boxes or kind of buried in the menu structure really out into the forefront. So again, providing a smarter work experience. I'm going to go ahead and select this merger document. I'll blow this up here a little bit for everyone. And you can see I'm actually filling out a letter. So what I'm going to go ahead and I have a letter here to Mr. Charney. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill out Neil's name here. Neil Charney. So at this point, I'm writing a letter. So what's the next logical thing I'd want to do? I'd want to put the address information.
So you'd have to go to the contact. You'd have to switch over to Outlook, go to the contacts folder,
exactly.
Look up Charney.
Exactly. I'd have to go and I'd have to lose my contacts where I'm working, but not with Office XP. Not with the experience you get right out of the box. What I'm going to introduce is now a concept called smart tags. And what smart tags really does is it provides this dynamic recognition of things that I've actually typed in the context of how I'm working, and provides these great actions that are right there in my user experience right from the beginning. So you'll see I've typed Neil Charney. I'm going to go and I'm going to hit return. You'll see that that's now been underlined. So that tells me as the user that there's something special about that particular name. If I hover over that, I see that I get this smart tag icon. If I select that, I can see that that's been marked now as a person. So Office has dynamically recognized it as a person's name and provides me these actions that I might want to actually do right from here. So for instance, maybe I want to send him an email to confirm a date.
Right.
Schedule a meeting, open a contact, add to contacts, or perhaps insert his address directly from Outlook. So I've gone to Outlook, I've grabbed that data, and I've actually put it right back in there.
Nice.
So again, you see the smarter work experience. But now what's even better is notice that the address of Neil has now been recognized as a smart tag. So I can hover over this. I can see that now this has been marked as an address. And now we've actually taken advantage of our relationship with Expedia. So right from here, if I want to find out where he is, I can display a map using Expedia. How's that for a smarter work experience?
Cool.
So again, it's all about simplifying the way we work and recognize that I didn't have to do any other learning. It just happened. It just came up. So let's go ahead and take a look at how some of this translates over into Excel. So here what I want to do is actually cut and paste from Excel, grab some of this data, and then put it back in my Word document. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight a bunch of things here and do Control-C and copy some of this text. And when I copy my second piece of text, you'll see another smart tag, or another task pane. This is the clipboard task pane. So we made dramatic improvements here so that at any one time you can see the 24 items exactly what's on your clipboard, so you're never at a loss for what you've actually cut and pasted onto your clipboard. What I'm going to do is actually select all the sales data, hit copy there, and you'll see that it went onto my clipboard. Go back to Word. I'll go ahead and I'll paste this right under the sales goals. And I'll paste that. Now again, smart tags come into play. It knew dynamically that I actually copied from Excel and pasted into Word. So it's giving me actions that are relevant to that particular context. So if I hover over my smart tag icon, I can see that I have a bunch of options. Keep the source formatting. Traditionally with Office 2000, I just am kind of stuck with whatever it gave me. Here I can actually match the destination table style. Changes dynamically. I can keep the text only. Or even better, what I might want to do is actually go ahead and bind that table to the Excel file that actually pulled it from, so that if that file gets updated, so does the Word document. Very exciting new technology.
Cool.
So I'll go ahead and keep that source formatting.
Good job.
Now I want to take a look at how we've actually applied this across a couple other fronts on Office XP. So I'm going to type, there's a few things I think we have to do actually to really make this merger successful. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type, the first thing we have to do is evaluate all options.
So you're going to get that auto number thing that
yeah.
I like, but I guess a few other people may not like it.
How many people in here like that auto number every single time? How many people don't? Let's hear some hissing. Okay, okay, great. So what'll happen, right? As soon as I hit return, the auto number will take over, right? And a lot of feedback from users, but that's not necessarily, it sounds like Jeff likes it, not really what they want. They want to be back in control of the application. So what this now has done, again, based on a smart tag, says, you know what, undo this automatic numbering once, or never, ever, ever show me automatic numbering again. How's that for putting the user back in control, huh?
Yep.
Great. So what I want to do now is switch over to Excel and show how we have some of this smart tag technology kind of in Excel and how we actually translates not only from inside the Office application, but also across into the Internet. So here I have a simple portfolio history, and I can actually select the stock ticker symbol WOZZ. Now you'll see that it was actually marked with the smart tag, so a little bit different UI there for Excel down in the lower left-hand corner there. And I can see that, again, this has been recognized as a stock ticker symbol. So again, in this case, there's interesting actions that I might want to do. But in this case, I'm going to go out to the Internet and take advantage of these actions. So again, referring back to your conversation about broadening the scope of what really your experience is. So I can do a number of things here. One of them that I'm going to do is actually just go get a stock quote on Money Central. So again, I recognize I haven't left, and I haven't done anything different. No new training here. And also, I've integrated my Office experience across into the Internet. So here we can see that we've partnered with Money Central and provide those types of smart tags right out of the box.
Right to that quote?
Exactly, right to the quote. So we've passed the parameters directly over to Internet Explorer. Now this is interesting, and this is great, but what if I really want to bind this data to Excel, right? So with a number of the new technologies, we can actually have Office be front end for these Internet-based business processes. So what I'll do is I'll actually select some of this text, and I'm sure we've all tried to do a copy and paste from the Internet and from browsers back into Office. And generally what happens is you're just kind of stuck with the generic formatting that you're providing. But again, I'll go ahead and I'll paste that. Now again, it knew that I actually copied from Internet Explorer into Office and provided another smart tag, which effectively lets me now keep this source formatting, match the formatting of Excel, or in this case, actually create a refreshable web query. And so what this will do is actually launch our new web query dialog, which is a great enhancement over the previous version. And what this does, it actually takes that web page, parses the tables, and then just simply lets me hover over exactly which one of the tables I might want to actually bind to Excel. So I can go ahead and select those, import those. And so what have I done? I've actually made Office a front-end to Internet-enabled data. Great, great work experience.
Great. Good job.
So now we've shown how task panes and smart tags really simplify the way you work, let the user get more out of the product, and takes advantage of building a smarter work experience. I have one final thing I want to talk about on auto recover, which is a great new feature we have. I'm going to show that by opening up PowerPoint. So now, to clarify, there's been a ton of work done on PowerPoint. I'm only going to show you a few of the features, and you're going to see a number of other ones over the next few days. First thing you'll notice is we have a new thumbnail view. So everybody can take a quick look at exactly what your slides look like there. The other thing we've done is we've actually changed the commenting. So I'm sure you've commented on slides and you get those big blocks of yellow, and it just it's sometimes difficult to navigate. Here we've actually changed that. Now I can just get a tooltip based on what that comment is. I know exactly who that user is. So just some great things we've done in PowerPoint. So what I'll now go ahead and do in PowerPoint is update this slide with an org chart. And let's say you're working on a new organization. So we'll put just Jeff here. Maybe someday. I mean, if it's cool with you, I mean, I can work with you.
Yeah, we'll get right on top of that, Anders.
Openings and maybe I don't know, Jeff, if you want to, Jeff wants to work for you too. But anyway, the point is we made an update to my PowerPoint. Now the key point here is I have not saved the file. I haven't saved the file. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to print this. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a print preview in PowerPoint. How about that, huh? How many people have ever printed your document or your slides? You didn't even know what the heck you were going to get, and once you printed them, you were frustrated.
And you can preview the slides, the handouts, the notes pages, everything.
Exactly. So as you mentioned, not that our software ever crashes, but in the event that there's some rogue driver that got on your machine or something, that actually might cause some problems. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to print this. And what we've actually done is we've actually faked PowerPoint to show you this. So it's spinning away, it's working, and it crashed, right? So what would happen now if this happens today?
Well, I'd be pissed off.
You'd be pissed off. You'd call support. Right? You'd wonder where that org change was. You would have totally lost your work. As you mentioned, we have this airbag now. So what this does is actually says, in a very nice way, we're sorry that it's crashed. Would you like to recover your work? Of course, I want to recover that work because I didn't actually save it.
I'm glad we worked on politeness.
Exactly. And then the more interesting thing, and Steven Sinasi is going to spend a lot of time talking about this, is that we actually enable the user to do a dump to Microsoft in terms of the state of that machine. And again, we have some great data of how we use this internally that really gives us the state of that machine so we can try to do analysis on what these bugs are and then put that right back into the product. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to not send the error report, but I'm going to restart PowerPoint. And what you'll see is when I've restarted it, not only do I have the original document that I'd worked on, but I also have the document that I didn't save and it now still has those changes in the org chart.
Ah, fantastic. So I'm right back where I left off.
Exactly, right back where you worked off. So, again, I can't emphasize, this is just a tip of the iceberg on the things we've done for the individual. Great task pane, smart tags, auto recover, some great stuff, and a little bit later we'll talk about the team-based collaboration. That's
great, and if you want to work on that promotion, Anders, the key thing to mention here is that org chart thing can be expanded and enhanced using Microsoft Visio. Okay?
We'll work on that.
Great. Anders going to stick with me here for a little bit because I want him to show you more. I want him to help peel off more of the layers. But clearly what Anders just showed you with the personal experience is core elements, smart tags, task pane, auto recovery that help simplify the way users can work, get more out of Office, put them more in control, and make sure that they are tools that they can rely upon. Now, we want to go on. We want to begin to peel the layer related to the team experience. Clearly, what we've seen with Office is that it has become the core of how people create, analyze, and communicate information. And because of the explosion of the web, the way in which people are interconnected, it means that a large part of what they are doing is collaborating. So again, the key thing here is to make sure people can communicate clearly, that they are effectively connected, that they can share and store information and knowledge. So I've asked Anders to really focus in on SharePoint team services, a major step forward in terms of how people can use the intranet and across the internet in order to collaborate. We're going to go through document review, and we're also going to show you a little about unified mail. Anders?
Thanks, Jeff. So again, now we're going to move on to this team experience. And really, as we mentioned, if you can get the end users and change their experience fundamentally, that just grows when you put these people together with this application on their desktop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how we've made some enhancements to really help people communicate more effectively and to collaborate more effectively, specifically around some of the enhancements to Outlook and scheduling and calendaring, as well as the send for review. You're going to get a whole lot of stuff on SharePoint team services when Steven Sinofsky comes up and talks. So the first thing I want to say is everyone's going to be at this Airlift. I don't know. Most of you will be here 3, 4, 5 days. What's going to happen when you go back and you boot up Outlook if you haven't been online? You're going to get no less than probably 27 reminders in Outlook that say you've missed a bunch of meetings that you've actually already missed anyway, so I'm not sure if the reminder did you a lot of good. The point is, not with Office XP. All the reminders are now in one window. So that's a great feature based on great customer feedback that we've been getting. The other thing is, now I'll open up Outlook. We've actually done a lot of interesting things with the preview pane. So probably a lot of you have used the preview pane before. One of the things that we've done that's great is in the preview pane, now if I actually look at a Schedule Plus request, I can actually accept or decline right from inside
right from
that.
The pane.
Exactly, instead of having to open that up. So that's, again, been some great feedback. Now, what's even more interesting is how many times have you set up a meeting, right? You sent out the Schedule Plus, right? And let's say we're talking about the organization you and I want to set up, and you actually schedule
your promotion.
My promotion, exactly. And all I can do if I look at my calendar is either accept or decline it, or I can do a tentative. But you know what? I know there's a better time where we're both open, but I still can't do anything. So we've added this great new feature. So if you send me a Schedule Plus request that I can't make, I can actually select this proposed new time, which goes out and looks at your calendar and lets me give feedback and say, you know what, I can't make that time, but perhaps I could actually, what about this time, Jeff? But you're still in control of the meeting. So if you wanted to change the room or invite other attendees, you stay in control of the meeting. So again, a great way to try to kind of streamline this communication process as opposed to this, you know, you send it, I decline, you send it, I decline. So really, again, helping people communicate much more effectively. The final thing that I wanted to talk about quickly, and again, there's a ton in Outlook. There's instant messaging, there's getting multiple email accounts. There's a bunch of things that hopefully we'll be covering off in detail this week. But the final thing I want to talk about is document collaboration. Huge, huge improvements on how people actually share documents. So to demonstrate this, I want to set up a scenario, which is, let's say you're writing an executive summary, and I'm sure you must send it to some of those guys, like Bill and Steve and all those other guys.
So you send it out, and then, get an email back with some feedback from Steve, and then an email back from feedback from Bill, and then you got to have all, a lot of times they'll just end up printing them out and trying to figure out how to merge.
And everyone in here knows that, because Jeff's not the minority. Every single person here, when we want feedback on a document, we either send a link or we send an attachment. And then if we send it out to 12 different people, we're stuck as the person in the middle trying to do conflict resolution and understand, well, Jeff made those changes and John made those changes, so really who should win out? And it's not really integrated. So we've added this new feature in Office XP called Send for Review. So here's the document I was working on. Okay, and so now I'm going to say File, Send to, Recipient for Review. So that'll actually boot up Outlook, create an email for me automatically, and attach that document. Right. But it's interesting, because what it does is it attaches it with some special data that says, this document's been sent for review, so it's not just a generic attachment. So I could actually send this to, let's say, Barish, and immediately now you'll notice we have autocomplete in Outlook, which is a great new feature.
Cool.
Go ahead and send it to Scott and Barish, and I can actually then make some comments. Thanks for reviewing this. So it's just like an email. I reckon I haven't really left the experience that I was in with Word. I go ahead and I can just send that off. So we'll actually send that document off, and we'll assume that those guys are working on it and taking a look at it. And I'm going to switch roles now and pretend that somebody's actually sent me a document for review.
Okay.
So I go into my email here, and I can see that Barish has actually sent me a document, just like I just sent out. And it says, please review the attached document. So this is my experience, right? We all live in Outlook every day. So I'm just in Outlook. I've received this. I can double-click on this merger document, and it opens up. Now recognize that it's immediately opened up into the editing mode. Okay, so I didn't have to change anything. It's immediately opened up into the... Ooh, that didn't work. Didn't want... There we go. That's a little better. It opened up into the editing mode, and I can go ahead right from, again, my experience in Outlook and start to edit this. So let's say I actually want to delete this word today. So the first thing you'll notice is actually we have some new markup and revision features in Office XP. So rather than putting everything in line, we actually do a lot in the margin. So again, I can actually add some comments here and say, insert comment. Are we sure about this? And I can actually say that perhaps Dave Richards and Jeff Raikes needs to buy off on this. So it's a great new feature, but why do we do this? It's because that's how we do it on paper. How many times have you put it in the text? No, you put it in the margin. So again, taking a look at how we can simplify the way people work with Office XP based on how they're working today. So again, I want to re-emphasize, I haven't left my email or Outlook. I'll go ahead and just make these few changes and reply with changes. So again, that just launches out Outlook. I can go ahead and say, this looks great. This looks fine. And I can go ahead and I can just hit send. And so again, I haven't left my experience within Outlook. Haven't changed a thing about how I work. Now what's even better, though, is let's go back and take a look at the kinds of feedback that we've gotten on that document I sent out for review. So here I can see that John Vale has actually given me feedback. Here are my comments. Thanks. He's given me feedback on a document I sent out for review. So now, when I open up this document, it will actually know that I sent it out for review and say, do you want to merge those changes into the original document automatically? I'll go ahead and I'll select yes. And again, you can see that now we've just thrown these changes into that original document. But it's better because it works for a number of different people. So I'll go back and I'll see that here I have feedback from Bobby Moore as well. So I'll go ahead and double-click that document. Again, it asks me, this has been sent for review. Do you want to merge the changes? So just like that, I have all the changes from all the people in one document right from Outlook.
Right. Cool. And how about managing those changes?
How about managing? Right. So then we got to spend time actually fixing the document. But what I can do is actually hover over, see exactly who said what comments. I can actually show different people's revision marks, so I know exactly what's going on with this document. So it's a great new feature that we really think is going to step up the bar in terms of how we think. And I got to tell you, for those people that are using Office XP internally, we're using this all the time. So it's a great piece of technology. So again, just to summarize, we covered off on a few Outlook collaboration features, and then really to send for review. Another huge area is SharePoint Team Services that Steven Sinotsi is going to talk about later today. So,
great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anders. Are you leaving org experience?
No.
Okay. Well, Anders did a great job of showing you just a little bit, just the tip of the iceberg, and there's more. There's a lot more. How many of you in this room have more than one email provider? maybe Exchange and Hotmail and something. Oh, just about 100%. Wouldn't it be nice if you could have a universal inbox that basically allowed you to see all of the messages from all of your providers in one view? Would you like that? That's an Office XP. Instant messaging integrated in. So these are examples of what we are doing in order to make sure that what you can do is get the most from the team experience. Being able to do document review much easier. Being able to use SharePoint team services. Being able to get a universal inbox. Those are examples of improving the team experience. And then the final element of the positioning is the organizational experience. You know, it's very, very clear to us that for many companies, many users, Office has become a fundamental platform for their business solutions. And so we wanted to take smart tags, which obviously are great at putting the user back in control, but there's the potential to do a lot more. There's the opportunity to use smart tags in order to take a major step forward in terms of how people build their business solutions. There's the opportunity to use the kind of search capabilities that we've developed with Tahoe or our SharePoint portal server and make sure that that kind of search capability is tightly integrated in with what we do with Microsoft Office XP. And finally, you're going to hear over and over again during the next few years the acronym XML, Extensible Markup Language. During the 90s, we heard about HTML. During this decade, we'll hear about XML and the way in which it is opening up software to be able to integrate and provide people new capabilities. And so what we've done is we've taken another major step forward with XML. With Excel and Access, we've built fundamental XML support right into the product so that you can more easily use them to integrate in with XML data. So that's what the organizational experience is about. So personal experience, team experience, organizational experience. Now you're getting a sense of these layers of the product. Now, what are we doing in order to make sure that we get it out and get people fired up for what's possible? Well, we had 10,000 Beta 1 users. We got a lot of great feedback, but we're now in the process of getting the RC1 out. In fact, I think during this month, we're going to get RC1 out to 100,000 users. And then during March and April, we're going to get it out to about 250,000 more users, so that we'll get about 350,000 people using the product here in the next couple months. I know inside Microsoft today, we have well over 10,000 people who are using Microsoft Office XP every day as their fundamental working tool. I haven't used Office 2000 for a while now. All I use is Office XP. And we're very appreciative and want to thank our RDP participants. People like Merck, Boeing, Bridge, Wharton, Medicity. These are companies who stepped up and decided that they wanted to be early adopters because of the opportunity to use Office XP to make a difference for their users and for their companies. I want to dig into one great example. And this is Bridge Information Systems. Not only are they an early adopter, but they are a great example of what you can do in terms of the organizational experience when you take advantage of smart tags. Now, for those of you who don't know Bridge, they're the leading provider of financial information and related services in the North American market. In other words, every day people around the country, around the world, are depending upon Bridge in order to get up-to-date information that's going to help them make the right decision. So they really understand the importance of the connection between productivity and business systems. They saw opportunities with Office XP, the opportunity to expand their revenue, the opportunity to cut costs, the opportunity to improve the experience, the XP of their customers. And so let me introduce you to a little bit about what Bridge does. This is a very, very high-level architectural diagram. They have 7 regional data centers. They have about 17,000 Windows-based servers, so obviously one of the largest Windows-based server or Windows servers customers in the world. But what they're doing is they're using that infrastructure, the Windows-based infrastructure, to more efficiently deliver the right information at the right time to their users. And they do that by having smart clients. by using the capability of Windows at the workstation in order to provide a better experience. Now, what they wanted to do is they wanted to reach out more broadly to customers, open up new revenue streams, to reach out to the people who are now getting on the internet and looking at financial transactions and want financial information. They wanted to be able to enhance the experience of their current customer base and cut costs in terms of delivering that information. So they really latched on to this concept of smart tags. With smart tags, in many ways, it's really a simple architecture. You have a recognizer, and you have a facility to take action. So what does that mean? It means that from right within the product, you can program that recognizer so that when a certain thing appears, a certain string of characters appears in the document, a set of actions become available and the next action can be taken. So that ability then to provide an enhanced experience for their users gives them the opportunity to provide new capabilities and new revenue sources. And we're very fortunate to have with us here today Jeffrey Woodruff, who is the Senior Vice President of Internet Products at Bridge Information Systems. And I wanted to share with you a couple of quotes that really captured my attention. What he said was that the advanced technologies in Office XP, like extensible smart tags, have enabled his company to quickly build entirely new customer solutions. So remember what we said about business agility? Remember what we said about the ability to move quickly, to anticipate customer needs, to be responsive, to have a flexible information technology environment that helps to move more quickly. This is a great example. He said Office XP opens up new opportunities for our business to extend beyond value-added services for financial services professionals to reach a broader consumer audience. So, new business opportunities, better ways of taking care of current customers. And that is core to the Office experience, Office XP. A better personal experience, a better team experience, and a better organizational experience. And what it all adds up to is the smarter work experience. A way for us to enhance the lives of the people who are using our software as a fundamental part of their productivity every day. So I want to, again, thank you all very much for your commitment to be here with us. We are very excited to peel the layers for you and give you a great sense of what Office XP is all about. Thank you very much.